see what happens.
So obviously this video is really late. I try to get my deer camp videos up, as soon as I get back from deer camp. I usually start editing my deer camp videos. And this year I was already behind, and then I had the video where I shot my buck this year, and I wanted to make sure that I get that out. I wanted everything to go chronologically with the whole hunting season, the ups, the downs, finally getting a deer, and then going to deer camp and seeing what happens there. So when I got back from deer camp, I still had 2 videos to edit. I had the hunts leading up to opening day of gun season, and then I had the opening day of gun season hunt where I shoot my buck with my bow. I ended up editing those, and that farm that I've been hunting there for quite a long time. I mean, 20 to 30 years. I mean, I've been hunting there since I was 12. So, I mean, almost 33 years. So I uploaded both those videos, scheduled them to be published, and then I started working on the deer camp video. Right before my opening day video was published, my grandpa died. And my grandpa, he's the one that owns the farm that I've been hunting all those years. And he's been sick for like the last 6 months, on and off. So it wasn't totally unexpected, but like he was showing signs of getting better, and then it just happened. So me and my family, we've been staying out with my grandma pretty much every day. We're living out of suitcases at my grandma's house, and just been helping her and taking care of her and whatnot. So I'm a little slow on the video uploads and getting these edits done because I'm just not used to being out there, and then I'm helping her and working and so on, and it's been a lot to try to get this video done. Made it to camp.
We made it.
Rob, Ryan came in, and then Gary, Steve, and Eric drove separate, and we all met here today and then met up. Took the old Big Red, Team Big Red, out here and made it into campus. It's a little muddy, it's warm, it's probably low 50s, early or late 40s, high 40s? High 40s. Try it. What, I don't get it. Cracks in the bottom?
No, they just weigh like twice as much.
Oh, that they did? Yeah.
Through the mud.
Yeah, it's a little muddy down through there.
Carrying heavy weight.
So the first camp just left. Well, they left a couple hours ago, but they left us a bunch of wood to cut or split. We got a wood splitter up here now, I guess. I don't know how they got that back here. We went out, we did some baiting real quick, and then I went over and checked the food plots. And man, I mean, there's a lot of food in there. I'll probably take the camera over there tomorrow afternoon or something and take a look at it because it looks really good. There's just like a ton of food, and I just can't figure out why they're not in there hitting it. But I've only had like one doe over there on camera, but it looks like they're coming in and they're going to a part where the camera doesn't detect. So that might be the case. Somebody just needs to sit over there and see if anything's showing up over there or not, but I might move the camera too. What?
Yeah, they're coming in.
Who's coming in?
Yeah.
The deer?
Yeah.
You think so? Oh. Okay. All right, cool. Here's an example of what the food plot's producing over there. So yeah, they make some big food over there. But I
Can I
mean,
drink that now?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
But I mean, you see, there's no bites taken out of it, nothing. None of them have been hit. So I don't know, man. It is weird. Ryan and Robbie are going to put up a camera. We have another reveal that we brought up here, and we're going to put it out. And then me and Eric are going to go check the feeder and see if the feeder's actually working. Maybe shake it around a little bit. There were deer coming in there up to like a week ago, then the camera stopped working. So I guess I'll just give you a little bit of footage off these cameras, So the bear got a hold of it, hit it here. Antenna was down on the ground, but the bent that all out of shape. We had a feeling a bear got to it. We weren't sure though, because it just stopped sending pictures, and so we never got a picture of it like walking up to the camera. But there's the feeder.
Empty.
We have videos of the bear, and it's climbing up this tree, and it was literally sitting on this. Like, was it shitting on this thing? Like, look at this, dude. Like, but it was sitting on this cable, so it was probably bouncing the cable, vibrating it out of there. You know? But I mean, that tree is just tore up. But I mean, it is still bear proof. I mean, they could not get it down. So we're kind of starting to trip off like we did last time, except we got another step we're going to take today. We are sitting in a blind we call Ernie's, and we're going to sit here for an hour or so, and then we're going to go for a walk, and we're going to head to a spot that we found on the map. And me and my brother Ryan and Steve have been here before. Rob's never been back here, but that's a pretty cool open area. I think it's on one of the videos a couple years ago. We call it the pond or the lake. It's basically just a damn creek. It's not very big. It's not big enough to call a lake, but that's just what we call it. Well, we're gonna head back there, see if it's opened up a little bit. They dammed this river out in front of us, and it's insane, because we were here this summer and it was really low, and it is, I mean, it's tripled in size. It's so wide. And then you go down to the actual dams, there's like a 3-foot difference in water level on both of them. So it's raised up quite a bit. But that's our plan today. We'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? You know, so far, what we're hearing, there's just tons of deer everywhere. So, yeah, we've literally talked to I've talked to a couple hunters online that have wrote me via Instagram that hunt around here, and they said they haven't seen any deer. We had one guy tell us he hasn't seen a deer since the summer, and then he heard of somebody shooting at 8 Point south of our camp. So, which could be true, because we have seen a couple 8 Points on camera. It was like a month ago. So we had one here the 13th or 14th, and it was a pretty good one, but we haven't seen it since. So I don't know. I guess that's it. You'll know when we know. This beaver dam wasn't here a month ago when we were here for bear camp. So in 1 month's time, month and a half's time, they created this huge dam here. It goes all the way across. And then another one down here. See, it looks like something went in right there. Broke the ice. I mean, it's not a lot of ice, but came out over here. And then it looks like it stopped right there, maybe. But yeah, those tracks right there, those look big.
So look right here. Okay. See how it's like all wet right here too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then that does look bigger right there.
Yeah, there was some down there that looked like they could have been moose tracks for sure.
And here's the other one. This one has a huge drop off here. And there's quite a bit of water coming in on the side. And it goes down for a long way. But this, like the river across from the creek across from the cabin was the same height as this one when we came here in September. pretty clear.
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't.
But see, it went farther. It went all the way through. See, I think it tried to go across there, got stuck, turned around, came over here, and then ran through. That's why I think it was really getting pushed. So we made it to our destination. Not a whole lot of sign coming in, but looks like there's a big old dam down there. I should go check that out. But this used to be, the water used to be at the top of these logs here a couple years ago.
How far or how high?
It was to the top of those logs.
Okay.
And then obviously that dam stopped that, but it's, so the first time me and Eric came back here, you could see it was flat all the way across. You could see
Yeah.
everything.
It's grown up quite a bit then.
Yeah, and then when me and Ryan came in here, it was basically like this. But I think it's opened back up. It must have flooded at one point
Yeah.
because it's opened back up quite a bit. But I think this could be a good spot, dude. Like,
I like
as open as it is, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we walk the river, see if we see any kind of sign or anything of deer. And if not, we can always go elsewhere. We have thousands of acres. We're probably a lot easier walking. If we sat here all day, we'd see a moose.
It's moosey for sure.
Yeah. Oh. No, I'm not even gonna be calling them.
I like
that?
walking in this better.
Yeah, no, we can walk over. Deer tracks.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you could.
We're adventuring. We really bring too much stuff, though.
Yeah. The hell am I caught off? It might be too deep for you to cross right here.
How are they pulling these damn things out of here?
Huh?
So, kind of like on a little island, a very, very small island in the middle of a swamp. Just don't know, you know, are deer out here in the swamps?
Dude.
In UP? If you look that way, dude, you can see a long ways.
Yeah.
You can see all the way to that woods. So
Yeah.
I'm saying if we can get up 10 feet even, 2 steps. So I went up there and looked, and then Robbie's gonna take a look because he's a hunter. So he's gonna see how he feels about it. I mean, it's pretty thick. The odds of us seeing the deer, though, are probably as good as anywhere. You know?
Which isn't much.
Right. So put it in. So you put it in there, and then you just kind of push it to the side, and then straighten your foot out. And then that should keep your second one step far enough out. Okay. How you feeling, Rob?
Great.
Oh, Jesus. We just walked through a couple miles through the swamp just to get to the spring. So that wasn't the trail that I thought it was. So this is what the food plot turned out to. It's just flourishing with radishes and turnips and collard greens and whatever that is, radish or turnip. Yeah, just an abundance, just hundreds of them. Look at these radishes, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this one. That might be bigger than the other one.
Thing's huge.
That one there, all those. I wonder if you chopped them up and put a scent in there if
Where
it'd
do you
help.
think they were eating down here?
Yeah, down there it looks like it's hit on a little bit, but it's hard to tell. That's what I'm saying. I think if like maybe I chopped one up with like a hatchet or something. A bunch of them. See, look at this trail that comes in right here. There's a trail that comes in there. Dude, those are huge. Yeah, it is insane. All right, well, no more point in wasting time. So everything's got changed around, but it was going to be me and Robbie going to a spot, and then Steve was going to walk with us. I'm just going to go out there and sit right now, get the camera set up. I have 2 other cameras out there I'm wanting to check. I'm going to grab this card. You guys have a look at it. This is another food plot I put in here. And this one I didn't do a whole lot of prep for, but it did produce, you know, some radishes up here. Not a whole lot, but it did produce radishes, so it's just a matter of time. And hopefully they come to find that they taste good. I don't know, they just don't seem to be touching them. And that's a weird thing to me. I mean, that's literally bait coming out of the ground. Well, I gotta go. I just set up, but my brother gave me my gun and I thought he loaded it for me and he didn't, so I had to meet up with him and go get my shells. I'll be back in a minute. Met my brother, got the bullets. And now I am hanging out in the tree. Got all my jackets on. Got a water. We walked all this morning. We calculated it was about between 3 and 3.5 miles is what we walked. It's just under a mile to the blind that we walked to, and then we ended up walking down to those dams. And then, you know, if we were to walk straight back, it would have been, you know, 2 miles, which isn't that bad. And even 3 miles isn't that bad, 3.5 miles, but that last mile and a half was, and that was rough. I fell in 2 sinkholes above my boots, so those boots are drying right now. It is really quiet up here. We got a north wind, which I like, but I kinda don't like because it's blowing into the cedar swamp. And I walked that a couple years ago when I chased down the moose, and it was just filled with tracks. I did set up a camera back here, so I'm sitting on that little food plot I made this July. It didn't really produce very well, which I didn't expect it to. So it's been dead. It's really dead. Heard a few birds, a couple woodpeckers. But other than that, just not much. You know, I just want to see if anything moves out here at night, or if there's any, different deer that are out here. So far we seem to have a lot of wolves, bears on camera. A few moose, a few deer. But for the most part, that's it, just predators. I haven't seen anything, so I didn't do a whole lot of filming, but we got tomorrow's the last day. Looks like me and Gary are about to go for a walk in the back. Eric and Ryan went for a walk in the back yesterday. They didn't see any deer sign, only moose sign. But I think I'm going to go to a different area.
Deer camp, this will be the last sit of the year in the China Hutch. In the new blind. Tired. Man, I've walked a lot this year.
Yeah.
I walked 6.5, 7 miles yesterday.
It's kind of noisy in this inside, but when I was outside and he was moving around, I couldn't hear anything outside, so I'm not worried about the deer hearing us. I wasn't even planning on hunting, and then I was forced into hunting. But I was walking out here earlier, and I was changing the camera. I put up a different camera than I'll leave here all year. I don't want to leave my Tacticams up here. When I got down to where the camera was, I kicked up a deer, and Steve had been sitting here all morning and didn't see a deer. So it was like 1 o'clock, I think. But we're going to leave in the morning, so this is our last hunt. I really haven't filmed. I don't know, it's just been one of those years where you get excited, and you get here and you're like, oh, it's this again. No deer, no snow. And honestly, me and Rob, we didn't even plan on sitting this year. Our whole mindset was we're going to come out, we're going to find some tracks, and we're going to get on those tracks, and we're going to get that deer. And then it doesn't snow, you can't do that. So it's just one of those things where if you don't have a plan B, you don't have any options. I mean, the bait's not working. They're not even coming to the bait. Not at all. Not at night. Not, anytime. No does, no bucks. I mean, there's not even been, varmints and shit on that bait. It's just been dead. So, I don't know.
We're going to turn this into a grouse camp next year.
Yeah.
About 15 grouse.
Dude, we need to make it a grouse. That's what we should do into September.
Dude,
Come up and work on the trail, and then do a grouse camp.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about this deer camp, we actually have 2 camps. So we have 12 guys that go in, we only have 6 beds, and we're not snuggling up. So we do a first camp, and then we do a second camp. And we've been going in as the second camp for probably 8 to 10 years now. I'm not real sure how long we've been doing it, but it's been a while. And usually the first camp has more success than us because they're there opening day. There's not as much human presence. There's more deer for them to shoot. And the last 3 years, they haven't been seeing deer. And we haven't been seeing deer. So my expectations weren't real high, other than the fact that I went there all summer 3 times, and I did a whole bunch of land management. I cut down a whole bunch of trees, did a whole bunch of hinge cuts. I cleared out areas, planted food plots, and you've seen some of the food plots throughout the videos, and they've done pretty well. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm not going to stop doing that. But I just had a little bit higher expectations, even though all of the cellular trail cameras that we have up there, we're not getting any deer. I didn't do a whole lot of recording. I didn't want to make the same video I make every year. We go out, we split wood. I follow Robbie around. We sit in the blind, and you just talk to us, and you see a whole bunch of trees. And I wasn't in the mood to do that. I want to make a deer camp video where there's deer. And so first day I was pretty excited. I went out and I did a whole bunch of filming. Second day, I got my camera out a little bit. Third day, I don't even think I got my camera out. And then on the fourth day, I did a little bit of filming as well. Every year I have these intentions of making this epic deer camp video. And it's hard to make that video when there's no deer. So we'll figure it out. So I don't know what the reason is that there's no deer at camp. And, me and my brother talked about it. I've been reading articles and so on. Almost everybody you talk to up there says it's the wolves, and I'm not saying it's not the wolves. I think there's more of a wolf impact than the DNR says there is. I read the DNR report, and the deer numbers are really, really down, especially in the UP. But they say that there's only like 600 wolves in the entire UP. I don't know if that's true. I think that's what the article says anyway. I don't know. Most of what I read in that article basically said there's a lack of summer food, and the deer herd is thinning because there's no food. But my thing is, like, there's never been food. It's always been trees. The deer migrate, they come back, and then they do whatever. Now, will say that I did see more deer in the summer than I did see in the fall. So after September, I didn't see one deer in the pasture, my big food plot that I planted across the road that you saw in the video. I didn't have one picture of a deer. It was all predators, dogs, bears. That was it. Just watching the trail camera videos, you see that there's, you look at the numbers. I mean, there's more bears and dogs than there are deer. And I'm not saying that there's more actual bears and dogs, but the bears and the dogs are definitely more active than the deer. Those videos that I have, I'm sure some are the same deer, some are the same bears, some are the same wolves and coyotes, but there's a lot more activity in the dogs and the bears than there are in the deer. I did read an article about a deer camp in Minnesota, and they're going through the same issue, and they're not seeing a lot of deer. And it was one of those things where 5 years ago, everybody in their deer camp got a deer at deer camp. And in the last couple years, they're lucky if they get one deer at deer camp. And what they're looking into and what they're seeing is that it's not that the dogs are eating the deer. It's that the dogs are there and the deer leave. The one thing I have noticed is, since I started going up there, we used to see a lot of deer migration, where we'd see a lot of deer would be moving. They could be going south, and they just keep going through the property or whatnot. But we don't see that anymore. I think the first year we were there, Steve saw, he sat in one blind and he saw like 30 to 40 deer. Not all at once, obviously, but while he was sitting there, it was like 10 would go through one day, 12 would go through the next day, another 10 would go through, and they're just heading south towards the food. They go from the northern woods of Michigan to the agricultural fields of Wisconsin and southern UP or whatnot. And they don't seem to do that anymore. And I don't know why that is. And it could just be a spell. We could just be going through a really big dry spell, because when we first, for a couple years there, we didn't see a lot of deer. There was a couple years where we didn't see deer. And then they logged, and then the deer kind of moved in, and we had that big snowstorm. And then the next year, they ended up getting, I think, we took 5 or 6 deer out of that camp that year. And then the next year was another 4 or 5. And then the next year was another 4 or 5. So we just had this hot streak going. And now we're getting back into that cold streak. And maybe that's just what it is. We got spoiled for a little bit, and now the deer back in that cycle of not coming around. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going up there. I'm going to keep doing food plots. I'm going to keep trying to improve the property. My hope is that our little parcel of property, surrounded by these huge parcels of logging company, that it's kind of like there's a whole bunch of McDonald's everywhere, and then we're making a Chick-fil-A in the middle. So hopefully they'll come around and eat some Chick-fil-A. But if that makes any sense, I don't know. I just feel like if you're eating the same food all the time and then you find a good place that has really good food, maybe you'll stick around. I got one more video for deer hunting coming up, and it's just basically a recap of the year, recap of my December hunts. I did do a little bit of hunting in December before my grandpa passed away, and then I think I did a couple hunts after my grandpa passed away. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.